None of us maladaptive daydreamers could go through life alone. The people we have inside our heads are very, very important to us and matter a whole lot to our daydreams. Those people in our heads are called paras, and I'm going to be talking about them today. So let's start with the basics. What is a para? Well, a para is basically just a character inside of our daydreams. They can be any gender, any sexuality, really any species, it's literally just something that is living, like a living thing in our daydreams is a para. Most people will have paras that go with specific paracosms. Paracosms are the world that our daydreams take place in, and I'll be doing another video on those separately. But basically anything that lives inside of a paracosm is a para. The para is the main term for a character. There is one very important kind of subcategory of a para that I would also like to talk about, and that category is a parame, or a parame. A parame is basically just a self-insert character in a daydream or a paracosm. So many people will have many parames that kind of go into their many different paracosms, but they're all different, which is fun, because you would think if something is a self-insert into various forms of even media, various daydreams, that the self-insert character would be the same, but you'd be wrong. They can be very, very, very different between who kind of the daydreamer like portrays to the outside world. Basically, they're just the character, for me anyway, my parames are the characters that I play in the daydream, or I see from their perspective. So, for example, I have two main parames, I'd say. One of them is named Bailey, and one of them is named Andy. And they are two very different people, but they both were made based off of two different aspects of my own personality. So, for example, Bailey is very much kind of happy, kind of innocent, naive, very confident. She's sort of the positive aspects that I kind of see in myself. She's very enlightened. I often use the term beacon of light to describe her. She is a beacon of light, and Andy is very, very different. Andy, she is very quiet. She's very soft-spoken. She's confident in her ideas but doesn't know how to voice them, and she's very, very kind of low-key. She has potential, but she doesn't know how to unlock that potential and how to use that to actually achieve what she wants to achieve. And those are two very, very different aspects of me, but they both are me. So while they're both technically just a self-insert of myself into their various stories, they're still very, very different characters. Parames, I also find, can't cross borders, I find, as well as normal paras, and that might just be kind of like a me thing. But so I have my three main paracosms, which I'll talk about in the paracosms video, but one of them, there's a group of paras that sticks together called Team Armorain, and they are a tight-knit, close group of friends that in their world spawn over about, I think, 7 universes. They're from 7 different universes inside of a paracosm. Two of the paras in that paracosm, Katie and Mayan, often cross into either other daydreams or just kind of into this kind of reality a lot more often. Andy does not come into other people's stories, and Andy does not come into the real world. Same with the world that Bailey's from. Her boyfriend can cross into other stories and into the real world, but Bailey herself cannot. It's always interesting when paras kind of cross into this reality, and I'm not sure if other people do it or if it's just me, but basically every once in a while when I'm like really struggling with something, or I'm feeling really, it's basically when I'm feeling extreme emotions that are based on stuff in this reality, in this universe, that paras will kind of cross over into this reality. So Mayan is kind of like a mother figure to Team Armorain. And so when I'm like really, really stressed and I can't, like, so if I'm feeling really stressed or really, really anxious, usually she'll cross over and just kind of try and calm me down a bit. And it usually works, which is funny considering she's someone I've just made up inside my own head. But she does. She can come over and she can like calm me down and talk me through whatever is stressing me out, and I'll usually end up better than when she was there, like than when she wasn't there. And same with Katie, like when I'm really happy, especially in the car, if I'm really happy or really excited about something, she will be in the passenger seat. Like we will put up, like I'll put on her playlist, her Spotify playlist, and we will just jam out together to her Spotify playlist. And it's just like, so it's always weird when that happens because I'm in a daydream. I'm aware that I'm in a daydream, but I'm not in a paracosm. I'm still in this reality. And it's a weird feeling because it's like I'm still doing the facial expressions, the actions, and everything, but it's like I'm more self-conscious and more self-aware of it because it's like I'm not fully immersed in another universe. It's like I'm still driving my car or I'm still like sitting in a classroom or something. So it's not like I can be fully immersed and fully into a daydream. But it's the same, get the same satisfaction and the same kind of desire and need to daydream when they're when they're next to me, as opposed to when I go to them, kind of. And it's a really, really weird experience. So while I've made up all my paras, and like I know that they're made up because I've written down their personality, all of their like traits and all their likes and dislikes in a character sheet, like they are completely made up by me. They still sometimes just surprise me, and they still have somewhat of a mind of their own. When I'm daydreaming, and I assume when most maladaptive daydreamers daydream, it's you're kind of existing in the story with your paras. Like you're not in control. You're not saying, oh, villain A is gonna come do this, and then hero B is gonna do this. It's like it just kind of happens, and you're just kind of watching it, or you're just existing in that kind of universe. It's not like you are a writer. You're not you're not making the movie. You're living the movie. It's really weird and hard to explain because you've made all the characters, you've made the world, you've usually made a somewhat kind of, you have at least a feeling or a general plot direction, but specifics are not up, like the specifics aren't planned by you. So you're as shocked as everyone else is when something happens in your daydream. And it's so weird to think about, like analytical wise, that like your own brain is surprising you. Like paras still do have a mind of their own. For example, I'm Andy in like this big final climactic battle, and one of their friends betrays them, and I'm shocked. Like, how does my brain make up that plot point and show it to me and have it happen, but I'm as surprised as Katie is, and I'm as surprised as all my other paras are, because it's just like, it's like that character that betrayed everyone has a mind of their own and was thinking on their own like an actual person, but they're not. It's still just my brain. I'm just, oh my god, it's the weirdest thing. And it's like, it's hard to explain how that feels, because it's like, it's just a thing. It's just a daydreaming thing. But oh my god, it's like, how does that happen? How does that happen? I have no freaking clue, and I want to know, because while I'm very, very grateful, because honestly the stories would be kind of boring if I knew all the plot points all the time. What is my brain doing? What am I, like, gah! On that note, that's kind of the general overview of paras. They're characters in our brains that make us very, very, very happy and fulfill this story and this kind of coping mechanism that we need. My paras matter so, so much to me as a maladaptive daydreamer. Like, honestly, they are my friends. They are my family, they are my colleagues, they are everything. Like the relationships I have with them are real, and it's such a it's like it's so nice because they're there when I need them to be most of the time, and but you can still never meet them because they're still just fictional characters. So yeah, I love my paras. I love them all. I love them very, very dearly. Yes, they are the best. I love them a lot. And I know that that other maladaptive daydreamers do too. Even the ones that are like evil, it's like there's just, you've got a little soft spot for them because they're yours. They're part of a world that you helped make, and they're part of a world that you would honestly rather be in. So you're just like, I will tolerate and I will like you because I'd rather be here than with people who I don't like in this reality. Anyways, thank you for taking another step with me on my never-ending journey, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!